Birthdays are supposed to feel soft, like warm frosting on cake, like candles glowing in dim light, like laughter flowing around a room filled with people who love you. But my 27th birthday felt nothing like that. It felt like glass cracking under my feet. Quiet at first, then sharp enough to cut skin, sharp enough to draw blood. It started the moment I walked into my parents' house. The living room was filled with the usual suspects. My mother fussing over table settings, my father pretending not to be uncomfortable in social gatherings, cousins lounging around on their phones, and, of course, my older sister, Jenna, positioned like the queen of the evening, even though it wasn't her day. Jenna had always been the golden child, the perfect one, the one people compared me to with that soft sigh adults use when they want to pretend they're not being cruel. You're more sensitive than Jenna. You're quieter than Jenna. You're not as ambitious as Jenna. You're different. Different. I grew up thinking that word meant defective, wrong, a mistake. And Jenna made sure I never forgot it. She spotted me from across the room and smirked, that signature smirk she wore like a designer accessory. Look who finally arrived, the family mystery. My stomach tightened. Hi to you too, Jenna. She walked over and kissed the air beside my cheek, her perfume suffocatingly sweet. Happy birthday, she purred. Another year older. Are you any closer to figuring out where you actually fit in this family? The room chuckled. I forced a smile. Very funny. But she wasn't done. Jenna never was. Dinner was uncomfortable enough. She threw little jabs like darts, laughing each time. Mom, you sure she didn't get switched at birth? Look at her, totally different bone structure. I swear she gets more and more unrelated every year. Everyone laughed because they always laughed at Jenna's jokes, even when they drew blood. But the worst moment came after dinner. Cake time. My mother dimmed the kitchen lights while my father lit the candles. Everyone gathered around. I forced myself to take a deep breath, ready to make a wish, a stupid, tiny hope that maybe, for just one day, things could be peaceful. But before I could even exhale, Jenna cleared her throat. Wait, she said dramatically. I have a special birthday gift for our little mystery child. She pulled a small gift bag from behind her back and set it in front of me. My cousins giggled. My mother looked confused. My father frowned. I felt my heart sink. What is it? I asked. Oh, just something fun. Something that might finally answer the question we've all been wondering. I looked inside and froze. A DNA test. A cheap, at-home kit. The kind people use to discover what % Scandinavian they are, or whether their father actually is their father. The room went dead silent. Jenna, my father warned, voice low. What? She laughed. It's just a joke. Don't be so dramatic. I just thought it'd be funny, since you, she pointed at me, always looked like you belonged to the mailman or something. A few of the cousins snickered.
I swallowed hard. Jenna, that's not funny, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. That's cruel. Oh, come on, she said. Don't be sensitive. It's just a joke. It's not like it'll reveal anything surprising. I mean, unless it does. She wiggled her eyebrows. Another ripple of laughter. My cheeks burned. My stomach twisted so tightly I thought I would throw up. My mother stepped forward. Jenna, apologize. Now. Jenna blinked, surprised. Mom, relax. It's just a test. My father slammed his hand on the table, making the plates rattle. It's not a joke. And then something shifted in my mother's expression, in my father's eyes, in the way they both looked at the DNA kit. Fear. Real fear. Fear I had never seen before. I stared at them as a cold wave washed over me. Mom? Dad? Neither of them answered. My mother's lips trembled. My father looked down at the floor. The room became a vacuum. No sound, no movement, just the violent pounding of my heartbeat. Jenna folded her arms. Oh, come on. Don't tell me this actually means something. My father snapped. Enough! Everyone froze. Then he looked at me. Just me. As if the rest of the room had vanished. Sweetheart, maybe we should talk privately. My blood went cold. Why? I asked, voice cracking. What's going on? My mother wiped her eyes. Please, not here. No, I said firmly, surprising even myself. If there's something to tell me, you say it now, in front of everyone. My father hesitated. Jenna scoffed. Oh, for God's sake, are we seriously doing this? Jenna, be quiet, my mother snapped, and I had never heard her raise her voice at her golden child. The entire table stiffened. My father finally exhaled, shoulders sinking. He wasn't angry anymore. He was defeated, broken. Sweetheart, the truth is, the room held its breath. You're not my biological daughter. Everything inside me shattered. The chairs, the voices, the candles flickering softly on the cake I never got to blow out. All of it blurred into nothing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't even think. He kept talking, voice trembling. Your mother was in a very dark place when we married. She had a past that none of us expected would find its way into our lives again. My mother covered her mouth with her hands, tears streaming down her cheeks. I whispered, Mom, please, tell me he's lying.
She tried to reach for me. I flinched back. No, I said. Tell me the truth. Her voice broke. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, she cried. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it didn't matter because you're my daughter. You're our daughter. But the damage was done. The knife had already twisted. And Jenna looked like someone had just handed her the most delicious gossip of her life. She leaned back in her chair, crossed her arms, and smirked. Well, she said softly, I guess my birthday gift wasn't a joke after all. And that moment, that cruel, smiling moment, was when something inside me snapped. Not with anger, but with clarity. If the truth was out, then I was going to find all of it, even if it destroyed everything they thought they knew. For a long moment, no one moved. No one breathed. It felt like the entire room had been dunked into ice water, cold, shocking, suffocating. My father's confession rang in my ears over and over. You're not my biological daughter. Words that didn't just slice, they gutted. I stood so fast, my chair screeched across the tile, jolting everyone. My heartbeat thrashed in my chest, frantic and unsteady, like my body was trying to outrun the truth. Jenna looked thrilled, absolutely glowing, like this was some kind of twisted party game. Well, she said with a grin, this birthday just got interesting. My mother jumped up. Jenna, not now. Why not? She smirked. She finally got her answer. I mean, I always knew something was off. Stop, I whispered. Nobody heard me. She never looked like us, Jenna continued, shrugging. I mean, clearly. And now we know why. Stop! My voice cracked like thunder. The room flinched.
Jenna's eyebrows lifted in fake innocence. What? I'm just saying what everyone here already thought. My mother turned to her with a rage I had never witnessed. Not everyone, she snapped. But I couldn't take it anymore. I turned toward my father, breath shaking. When were you going to tell me? When I turned 40? When I had kids? Never? He closed his eyes. Sweetheart, I am not your sweetheart. Not anymore. He flinched. I actually saw his shoulders tremble. My mother reached for me again, tears streaking her face. Please, listen. No, I said, stepping back. It's my turn to talk. Every pair of eyes locked on me. I felt dizzy, numb. But underneath that numbness, something hot and sharp was rising. Something wild. Something fed by years of being dismissed, teased, talked over, overlooked, mocked. Jenna's voice echoed in my memory. Another man's mistake. I looked right at her. You think this is funny? She shrugged, arms crossed. Well, yeah, kinda. Kinda? My voice trembled with disbelief.
I mean, look at you. She gestured carelessly. Your hair, your face, even your personality. Like, duh, you were always different. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was stating the obvious. My laugh came out hollow. Not trying to be mean. You were trying since we were kids. She rolled her eyes. Oh my God, are you seriously making this about childhood stuff? Grow up. I joked because I thought it was funny, not because I thought it was true. But it is true, I shouted. The room went dead silent again. Jenna froze. Good. Do you have any idea what that does to a person? I whispered, voice breaking. To joke about something like that your whole life and then find out you were right? She blinked. For the first time, her smirk wavered. Before she could answer, my father stepped toward me. Your mother made mistakes long before you were born, but she loved you. I loved you. I raised you. You are my daughter. Biologically, I'm not, I whispered. That doesn't matter, he insisted. It mattered enough that you hid it from me. He went still. My mom choked on a sob. We didn't want you to think you were unwanted. But I feel unwanted now. Worse than unwanted, I feel misplaced, like my whole life is a lie. My chest tightened, my throat burned. I needed answers. Real ones. Who is my father? I asked softly. My mother froze. My father froze. Even Jenna's eyes widened. My mother whispered, Honey, please, not tonight. Yes, tonight, my voice hardened, because you had 27 years to tell me the truth. I'm done waiting. My mother covered her face, trembling. I can't. My father stepped in, placing a hand on her back. We were going to tell you after you graduated, then after you got your first job, then we just kept pushing it because we didn't want to lose you. Lose me? My voice cracked. You already have. Mom sobbed harder. I stood straighter, swallowing the ache inside me. Tell me his name. They stared at each other, communicating in silence. Two adults who had carried a secret so heavy that it had warped them. Finally, my father nodded, slow, resigned. My mother sank into a chair like her bones had given out. Then she whispered the name. A name I had never heard before. A name that meant nothing to me, and yet somehow, everything. That's him? I asked, barely breathing. My mother nodded. Yes. Does he know about me? No. My knees nearly gave out. I swallowed hard. What does he do? Where is he? My mother hesitated. Then she whispered, He's a public figure. My stomach nodded. Public figure like famous? She nodded. My breath caught. Famous how? Another silence. Then she said his profession. The room tilted. I grabbed onto the back of a chair to steady myself. Him? That man? That name from TV, newspapers, online headlines? My mother sobbed. I was young and stupid. It was a horrible mistake. Jenna's jaw fell open. Wait, you had a baby with him and you never told anyone? Jenna, my father snapped.
but she wasn't listening anymore. Holy! This is huge! Do you know the press would kill for this? She could be— Shut up! I screamed. She stopped mid-sentence. I wiped my tears aggressively. I don't care about fame. I don't care about headlines. I care about the fact that you mocked me for being a mistake when the truth was sitting in our living room the entire time. She stepped back, startled. Good. I turned to my parents. I'm leaving. My mother stood quickly. Where will you go? Anywhere but here. My father followed me toward the door. Please, don't walk out like this. Why not? I said tiredly. It's what I should have done years ago. I grabbed my coat, my purse, my dignity. I looked at them one last time. You had 27 years to tell me the truth. Tonight, I'm choosing to finally tell myself the truth. Then, I opened the door. Cold air rushed in, and I walked out, unsure whether I was running away from my past or finally running toward my future. The cold night air slapped my face the second I stepped outside. It felt like the universe was trying to shock me awake, as if the last hour hadn't already ripped my entire identity to shreds. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't breathe in that house anymore. My legs carried me automatically down the driveway, past the garden lights, past my father's truck, past Jenna's obnoxiously expensive car. The porch door burst open behind me. Wait! My mother's voice. No, not now. I kept walking. Honey, please, she cried. I didn't slow down. Her footsteps rushed after me, frantic and uneven. But before she could catch up, another voice called from the porch. Just let her go, Mom. Jenna. Of course. She wants drama? Let her have it. I stopped mid-step. For a moment, everything inside me went still. Then I turned around slowly. My mother was halfway down the driveway, her arms outstretched. Behind her, Jenna leaned against the porch railing, smirking like she was watching a soap opera instead of my life falling apart. Drama?
Jenna shrugged. Well, yeah, you're making this whole thing bigger than it is. So what if you're not Dad's kid? Dad still raised you. It's not like you're adopted from a shelter. The cruelty in her voice wasn't surprising, but it was breathtaking. You think this is about drama? I whispered. This is about lies. Oh my God, Jenna groaned. Every family has secrets. But not every family mocks the person living inside the lie, I snapped. Not every family weaponizes it as a joke in front of everyone. My mother stepped closer. Sweetheart, she didn't know. That's the point, I cried. Nobody knew anything, not even me. My voice cracked, shattering in the cold air. My mother flinched. Jenna rolled her eyes and started walking back inside. I can't deal with this, she muttered. She'll come back when she calms down. That was the last straw. That's right, Jenna. Go inside. You wouldn't want to spend too much time near someone who doesn't share your DNA. She froze, turned, glared. Don't try to twist this on me, she snapped. I didn't lie to you. They did. True, I said, coldly. But you humiliated me for years. You called me adopted, switched at birth, the mailman's kid, the spare, and today, my voice shook. Today, you called me another man's mistake, on my birthday. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. Good. For once in your life, take responsibility for the damage you cause. Her jaw clenched, but she didn't respond. My mother reached out, touching my arm gently. Please don't go out alone. Let's talk inside. We'll tell you everything, I promise. The warmth of her touch almost broke me. Almost. But then I remembered how quickly they went silent when the truth came out, how fearful they looked, how they hadn't protected me from Jenna's cruelty all these years, how they waited nearly 30 decades to tell me who I really was. I stepped out of her reach. I need space. My mother's eyes filled with tears. At least take the car? No, I said softly.
I want to be alone right now. I need to think. She knew she couldn't stop me, so she nodded. The smallest, most painful nod I'd ever seen. Call me, she whispered. I didn't answer. I simply turned and walked down the street. The air was cold enough to sting my lungs. The streetlights blurred through my tears. My shoes crunched on gravel like the sound of something breaking. Something small and fragile. Maybe that something was me. I don't know how long I walked. Minutes? Hours? Time didn't exist. Only the unraveling of everything I thought was true. Finally, I ended up at a small public park, the one I used to visit as a teenager when Jenna's words stung too deeply and home felt too small to hold my thoughts. The benches were empty, the swings creaked softly in the wind, the jungle gym was covered in frost. I sat on the cold metal bench and pressed my hands to my face. Who am I? I whispered. It was a ridiculous question. I was still me, still the same person who woke up this morning believing her family was intact, her world stable, her place certain. But now? Now my identity felt like a house built on sand.
And it didn't help that the name my mother whispered, the name of my biological father, was someone the entire country knew. Someone powerful. Someone respected. Someone whose face was on TV more than my own family's faces were in photo albums. Why hadn't my mother told him about me? Why hadn't she told me about him? Why had she let Jenna mock me for years about belonging to some random guy when the truth was so much more complicated? I pressed my palms against my eyes until stars danced behind my eyelids. And then my phone buzzed. I almost didn't check it, but when I did, my breath caught. A text from an unknown number. We need to talk. I think I'm the man you're looking for. My heart stopped. What? I whispered. Another text popped up instantly. I heard what happened. I'm in town. I want to meet. My entire body went cold, colder than the night around me. There was no name attached, but something inside me already knew. It was him, the man whose name my mother whispered in devastation, the man who didn't know I existed. My biological father. He was reaching out. How did he know? Who told him? Was he watching me? Was he watching the house? Was he watching this? Before I could process any of it, another message arrived. Please, I've been trying to find you for years. Years? My pulse thundered. He knew. He knew long before tonight. Then why hadn't he come? Or had he tried? My thoughts spiraled until the night blurred into darkness. He sent one more message. A time, a place, tomorrow. And then, I'm sorry. I stared at the screen, hands shaking. Everything was about to explode again. My birthday had destroyed the life I knew. But this message, this man, he might destroy everything left of it. Or finally give me the answers I had been searching for all my life. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, the text messages flared behind my eyelids like fiery warnings. We need to talk. I'm the man you're looking for. I've been trying to find you for years. My biological father, the man whose name I had heard only once, whispered through my mother's trembling voice, was somewhere in my town. He knew about me. Or at least, he suspected. The sky was turning pale when I finally sat up in bed, heart pounding. My apartment felt too small, too quiet, too full of questions I wasn't ready to answer. But I knew one thing. Running had never given me peace. Not last night.
Not all those years I swallowed Jenna's words like poison. Not all those times I sensed something was off and ignored my own intuition. So, I did something I hadn't done in years. I chose courage. I got dressed. Jeans, a sweater, light makeup to hide the redness around my eyes. My hands trembled the entire time. The meeting place he had texted? A small quiet cafe near the edge of town. The kind where nobody bothered anyone, and the windows fogged from warmth on cold mornings. A neutral place. Public. Safe. At least, I hoped so. When I arrived, my heart felt like a trapped bird slamming against ribcage bars. The cafe door chimed softly as I stepped inside. Warm air hit my face. The smell of coffee and baked bread wrapped around me, grounding me. But then, I saw him. He sat at a corner table, hands clasped tightly together, posture tense. His face was unmistakable. I had seen it on billboards, in interviews, in news articles. Always polished, always composed. But not today. Today he looked haunted. Like a man who had aged overnight. Like a man who carried guilt like an anchor. When he lifted his head, his eyes locked with mine instantly. And something inside me shifted. Recognition. Not logical recognition. Emotional recognition. A strange flicker of familiarity in his eyes, in the shape of his face, in the slope of his jaw. I suddenly understood why I had stared at his image countless times over the years, without knowing why it felt familiar. He stood up slowly. "Thank you for coming," he said, low, earnest. I swallowed. "I haven't decided if I'm staying." He nodded. "Fair enough." I approached cautiously and sat across from him. He didn't reach out, didn't force a handshake. He simply looked at me like he was afraid I might disappear if he blinked. The silence stretched. Finally, he exhaled. "Your name is..." I told him. His eyes softened. "Beautiful." I didn't respond. He continued. "I know this must feel surreal, or shocking, or unwanted, and I don't blame you for any reaction you have. I need to tell you everything." I gripped the edge of the table. "How did you find me?" His expression darkened. "Your mother and I had a brief relationship a long time ago, before she met your father. We were young, very young. I wasn't ready to be in the public eye, and my career was exploding. I made a lot of mistakes." He rubbed his forehead. "We argued. We broke things off. She left town suddenly. No forwarding address. No explanation. I didn't know she was pregnant." My breath hitched. "She never told you?" "No." His voice cracked. "Not a word." Anger surged inside me. Not at him, but at the entire broken story, at the gaps, at the secrets, at the years lost. He continued.
I found out about the possibility of a child 2 years ago. Someone who knew us back then mentioned your mother had a baby shortly after leaving. 2 years ago?
He nodded, guilt clouding his features. I hired private investigators. I searched records. I reached out to old friends. But your parents had moved twice by then, and your mother changed her name when she married. It took time. He swallowed. And then last night, everything exploded online. My heart stopped. What do you mean? He pulled out his phone and slid it across the table. My hands shook as I picked it up. A video, posted by some cousin who clearly wanted internet attention. A video from last night. My birthday. My sister's DNA test joke. My father's revelation. My meltdown. It had been filmed secretly from behind the kitchen doorway. My entire humiliation, my identity shattering, had been posted online. Hundreds of thousands of views, thousands of comments, people arguing over my life like it was a TV drama. My hand flew to my mouth. Oh my God! He leaned forward gently. I wouldn't have reached out this way if I had any other option. But when I saw the video, when I heard your father say he wasn't your biological parent, he swallowed hard. I knew you were mine. Tears blurred my vision. He continued, voice shaking. I didn't want you to find out like that. God, I never wanted that. You deserve to hear it privately, safely, with love. Love. A word I didn't expect. A word that felt foreign coming from him. A word that suddenly felt like a bruise pressed too hard. I wiped my cheeks. So now what? You want to take a DNA test to confirm? Make sure I'm not some random girl who showed up? His expression twisted in pain. If you want one, yes, but I don't need it. My breath hitched. You don't? He shook his head, eyes glistening. You look like my mother. Exactly like her. He paused. And exactly like the girl I loved, before I was stupid enough to let her walk away. For a moment, the whole cafe fell away. The chatter, the coffee machine, the people at tables. There was only us. Two strangers, bound by a truth neither of us chose. He took a deep breath. I want the chance to know you. Not as a headline, not as part of a scandal, but as my daughter. My heart thudded painfully. But, he added softly, only if that's what you want. Want? What did I want? I wanted answers. I wanted honesty. I wanted stability. I wanted something real for once. I don't know what I want, I admitted, my voice breaking. Everything is happening so fast. He nodded. I understand. More silence. Heavy. Uncertain. Real. Then he reached into the pocket of his coat and pulled out an envelope. He slid it across the table. My pulse thumped. What's this? He said quietly. A letter. I wrote it 2 years ago, the day I found out you might exist. I carried it everywhere, just in case. My hands trembled as I touched the envelope.
He stood slowly. I won't pressure you. I won't chase you. Just read the letter when you're ready. He paused. And if you ever want to meet again, I'll be here. I stared at him, tears slipping down my cheeks again. He hesitated, then gently placed a hand over his heart. I'm sorry, sweetheart, for everything. Then he left.
And for the first time in my life, I wasn't sure whether I had lost something or finally found the missing piece of myself. I didn't open the letter right away. I held it, stared at it, turned it over in my hands until the paper warmed beneath my fingers. The cafe had emptied out, the early morning crowd replaced by a lull, that quiet window between breakfast and lunch where the world slows down just enough for people to hear their own thoughts. And mine were roaring. A man I'd watched on TV, a man millions of people knew by name, had called me sweetheart and apologized for not being in my life. He said he had looked for me, searched for me, carried a letter for me for years. But the part that rattled my bones was something else. He had recognized me instantly. Not from evidence, not from DNA, not even from the video. From my face, from something in me that reflected him. For 27 years, I had lived in a house where I felt out of place, where I was treated like an odd puzzle piece that never quite fit the picture, where I was mocked, dismissed, and labeled different. Now I knew why. And yet, knowing didn't make the wound smaller. It only made it deeper. I finally slipped the letter into my bag and walked out of the cafe, stepping back into the chilly morning air. The sun was rising fully now, coloring the sky in soft streaks of pink and gold, warm colors that felt painfully at odds with the storm unraveling in my heart. My phone vibrated. A name lit up on the screen. Mom. I stared at it until it stopped ringing. It started again immediately, then again. Finally, I answered. Her voice rushed out in a desperate tumble. Honey? Honey, where are you? Please come home. Please let us talk. Please. I met him, I said simply. Silence. I could practically feel the shock traveling through the phone. You... what? She whispered. He reached out last night after everything. We met this morning. Her breath hitched. I didn't think... I wasn't sure he... How long has he known? What did he say? Did he... Enough, I whispered. She went quiet. Cars passed along the street. A dog barked somewhere in the distance. My breath clouded in front of me as I continued walking, not even sure where I was going.
I know you're angry, she finally said, voice trembling. You have every right to be, but please listen to me. I didn't tell you because I wanted to protect you. Protect me from what? From him, she whispered. That stopped me cold. What do you mean? Her breath wavered. You know who he is. You know the world he lives in, the spotlight, the scandals, the pressure. I didn't want you to grow up in that chaos. I didn't want your childhood to become a media circus. My jaw clenched. So instead, you let me grow up being mocked by my own sister, made to feel like a mistake, left out of place in the only home I knew? Honey, I didn't protect you, I said quietly. You protected yourself, your image, your marriage, your comfort. She sobbed. Please come home so we can explain everything, both of us. I took a deep breath. No, I need to breathe. I need time. I need truth. And I can't find it under that roof right now. Before she could respond, I hung up. Then I turned off my phone. I needed silence, space, clarity. And I couldn't get any of that with Jenna's cruelty echoing in my mind and my parents' voices pulling at my guilt. I walked for almost an hour before I stopped at a small lake on the edge of town. The water was still, reflecting the sky like a fragile sheet of glass. I sat on the bench overlooking it and finally, pulled out the letter. The paper was thick,
ivory colored, with his handwriting on the front. Just my name. No last name. Almost like he didn't know which one belonged to me. I opened it. His handwriting slanted slightly, elegant, but rushed like the words had been written with urgency. I don't know if you'll ever read this. I don't know if you'll ever know I existed. But if you do, I need you to know this first. None of this is your fault. My throat tightened. You were never a mistake. My chest cracked, breath shaking. If you are mine, and I believe you are, then you were conceived from a moment I still remember after all these years. A moment filled with emotion and possibility, and everything I was too young and too afraid to face. I swallowed hard, eyes burning. I lost your mother because I was ambitious and foolish. I didn't understand the value of people back then, only the value of success. But I've never stopped thinking about her, or the child she might have had. I am not writing to take anything from you. Not your family, not your life, not your identity. I am writing because I need you to know one thing. You deserved better than silence. A tear rolled down my cheek. Another. If life brings you to me one day, I will welcome you with open arms. If it doesn't, I will respect that too. But wherever you are, whoever you are, your existence has always mattered to me, even when I couldn't prove it. I hope one day you'll forgive every mistake I made before you were even born. I hope one day you'll let me know who you became. And I hope, even if we never meet, that you never believe the lie that you were unwanted.
You were a miracle I didn't know I had. With hope. Your father. If you'll have me. I covered my mouth and cried, not the sharp, panicked cry from last night. A deep, aching cry, the kind that comes from wounds finally touched with something resembling truth. He didn't know me, not really, but he cared. He looked for me. He tried. And he wasn't ashamed of me. The letter trembled in my hands as I folded it carefully and slipped it back into the envelope. I didn't know what to do next. Did I want a relationship? Did I want answers? Did I want distance? Did I want revenge? Did I want healing? I wasn't sure. And maybe it was okay not to know. For the first time in 27 years, I had the truth. The real truth. Not the version my parents fed me. Not the jokes Jenna weaponized. Not the narrative I built from loneliness. The truth was messy, painful, unexpected, but it was mine. And that meant I could finally stop running from ghosts. It was hours later when I finally headed home, not to my parents' house, but to my own small apartment. When I pushed open the door, the silence felt different. Not empty, not lonely, just mine. I changed into soft clothes, made tea, sat on my sofa, and breathed for what felt like the first time in 2 days. But then a knock sounded at the door. 3 soft taps. I froze. Another set of taps, gentle but determined. My heart climbed into my throat as I approached the door and looked through the peephole. My mother. Standing alone, shoulders slumped, face blotchy from crying, hands twisting nervously. I opened the door slowly. She looked up at me with red, tired eyes. "Honey, please, just let me say what I need to say." I stepped aside wordlessly, letting her in. She moved quietly, like she was afraid to disturb the air around us, and sat on the edge of my sofa, clasping her hands tightly. "I know I hurt you. I know I failed you. As a mother, as a person, and I am so sorry." Tears filled her eyes. "But I want you to understand why I did what I did. She looked at me, pleading. Your biological father, he wasn't just famous. He was dangerous to be attached to when we were young. His life was chaos. Scandals, threats from tabloids, rumors, affairs, people stalking his family. I didn't want that life.
My chest tightened. I wasn't mature. I wasn't wise. And when I found out I was pregnant, I panicked. I didn't think I could handle being a single mother in the public eye. I didn't want you growing up hunted by cameras. Her voice cracked. So I married your father, the man who raised you, the man who chose you. I looked away. She reached gently for my hand, then waited, giving me the chance to pull back. I didn't. Her fingers wrapped around mine. He loved you like he were your own, she whispered. You were never the mistake. I was. Tears filled my eyes. All I ever wanted was to keep you safe. For 27 years, I whispered, without telling me once? She broke completely. I was terrified you would leave, that you would hate me. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I don't hate you, I said softly. But I need time. She nodded. Take all the time you need. Just please don't shut me out forever. I breathed in, out, then nodded. She sobbed softly, relief spilling over her. When she finally left, I felt lighter. Not healed, not okay, but lighter. And that was something. Later that night, as I sat in bed with the envelope beside me, my phone chimed. A single message from the man I had met this morning. Whenever you're ready for anything, I'm here. I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed, I'm not ready yet, but I will be. He responded instantly. Take your time, sweetheart. This time, the word didn't hurt. It felt warm, careful, real. I lay back, staring at the ceiling, feeling the truth settle into my bones. Jenna's cruelty had cracked open a secret that was destined to explode sooner or later. My parents' silence had shielded me and destroyed me at the same time. My real father's letter had given me something I never realized I needed: agency, a future, a story that was mine to shape, not one shaped by lies, jokes, or shame. Tonight, I wasn't defined by being a mistake. I was defined by survival, by truth, by resilience. And tomorrow? Tomorrow, I would start rebuilding my identity on my own terms, piece by piece, choice by choice, truth by truth. Because I finally knew the most important thing: I wasn't a mistake. I was a miracle someone finally found. And now, I was finding myself too.